Hi everybody, it's Alexanis and today I'm gonna review for you the Head Boom Pro. Let's go. So today I took out this Boom Pro from Tennis Zone because let me be honest with you, I don't like the Boom line, but I needed to give a chance to this Boom Pro because it might suit me a bit better, and so I might like this racket a bit better too. So first we're gonna go with the specs and then we're gonna go onto the court, and finally I'm gonna give my rating. So without further ado, let's start with the specs. So the specs are pretty simple for this racket. This is a 98 square inch head size with a 16 by 19 string pattern, and you have an unstrung weight of 310 grams. This racket is strung with Yonex Polytour Pro at 52 pounds. So without further ado, let's go on the court.
If you're looking to buy some tennis products online, then I have a great news for you. You can use the code ALEXTENNIS to have 10% off your next purchase on Tennis Zone. Thanks to them for making this video possible, and let's go back.
On the court with the Head Boom Pro, the first thing that I felt, and I was happy, is that I felt like it was more solid compared to the exotic version. So from the baseline, this racket is not creating a lot of easy power, but at the same time it's not like a racket that you need to push off the ground to have just a small tiny bit of power, you know. This racket can create its own power, but at the same time you still need to use your leg to play with that type of racket. So yes, it's gonna help you, but at the same time it's not a racket that's gonna create all the power for you. You still need to do your job from the baseline, and that's what I like with this racket. Compared to the exotic 1.0 version, I just felt like this racket was more stable, probably due to the swing weight, just more stable. Overall, the feeling got better, and you're not gaining a lot of power compared to the older generation due to the added stability. It just feels better, feels more consistent from the baseline, and that's what I like. This racket is okay in terms of power, okay in terms of spin, but in general, combined together, the feel is just great. At the serve, I felt the same thing. At the volley, I just felt like I was lacking a bit of feel, but it's normal due to a racket being that comfortable. You can't have a great feeling from the net. But overall, I just enjoyed this racket. Just felt like it was solid in general for a modern player that want to be from the baseline and that sometimes need to take time away from the opponent by going into the court. So yeah, that was definitely a big surprise for me. So I have to say that I was really surprised by the Head Boom Pro. Like you heard me at the beginning, I'm not a big fan of the Boom line, especially the Boom MP was never one of my favorite racket. And so when I went into this review, I was like, okay, let's make a review of the Boom Pro because I have to, but it's not something that I'm gonna really enjoy. And from the first hit that I had with this racket to the last one, I was so surprised about the result that I was getting with this racket. First of all, let's start with how the beam is shaped. So yes, you feel like it's thinner, going bigger over here and then going thinner, and so I don't know why, but I just enjoy the way that they made this. It just feels right for me. On the other side, I just felt like the string bed was really consistent, and it's not due to the Polytour Pro at all, but it's just like I feel like the distance between the cross and the main are pretty good. You feel the racket pretty good. You have a great mix between like control, spin and power, which is a good thing for me personally. And the most important thing for me is the consistency when you're hitting. You know where the ball is going, you know where everything is supposed to go, and so that makes all the difference for me. I thought personally that it would be a fail for me, but you feel like the racket is more stable, and so like I said, a bit more consistent, and for me it makes all the difference. Before we go to the rating, I just have to point out something that I don't really like with the Boom line, and it's the grip shape. So if you don't know, Head used to have a rectangular shape grip because back then we were using a bit more the continental grip to go to the net, to serve, so it was a bit more relevant to use that type of grip form. But now, no, so they've changed their grip, the way that it's done, but I don't know, like with the Boom line, I don't know if it's me or if it's a real thing, but like I feel like they went back to that rectangular kind of grip, and actually it's not a rectangular grip at all, but like it feels like it's more made to have their continental grip, and so I don't really enjoy this feeling, to be honest, personally, especially with my extreme grip when I'm doing a forehand. So that's the only thing that I have to point out with this Boom Pro. So let's go with the ratings. So in terms of control, I have to give a 8.5 out of 10, and yes, you might be surprised by this rating, but actually, like, yes, it's a powerful racket meant to be really comfortable, but like I said, the consistency brings a lot of control to this racket. The string bed just feels right. You feel like you have a lot of control. I feel like when a racket is unpredictable, that's where you lose the control, but because this racket is predictable, then you have a lot of good depth and you have some control. Obviously, it's not an end prestige at all, but I feel like it's a really modern racket. You know, in terms of power, it could be comparable to something like probably I would say a V-Core 95 or you know, something like that. So that's kind of still control oriented, but with a bit more power, obviously. In terms of power, I have to go with 7.5 out of 10 because this racket is powerful, but again, if you're a beginner or an intermediate player, you can't really use this racket because it's gonna be too heavy and too control oriented, that's for sure. In terms of spin, it's not a spin monster at all, but I mean, it's still quite good, so I'll have to go with 7 out of 10. It's not bad by any means, but it's not like a standout thing for the head boom. In terms of feel, I'm kind of surprised, but I have to go with 8.5 out of 10. I feel like, you know, I enjoy the Boom Pro. Like, personally, it's my favorite line, the Pro line from the Boom. But you know, the last generation was a good racket, but not as good as this one, that's for sure. And so I heard a lot of people saying that Exotic 2.0 doesn't make a big difference, and I would tend to agree. But for me personally, it makes a small difference that changes everything because the stability is there. It's just better in general for me. So here's the overall rating. Thanks to Tennis Zone for letting me borrow this racket. Without them, it would not have been possible. Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe, and see you next time. Bye bye.